Good morning, everyone. I apologize for being late. I hardly slept a wink last night, so bear with me here. I'm still setting up charts. I'm just loading Ninja now. So give me a couple of minutes and I'll have the charts up and running. Okay, it's a few minutes into Friday morning session. I suppose this is a good way to avoid the opening range. If you hear a bunch of yawning, sorry. I wouldn't trust my judgment today. Yes, Mark. Mark's right. At least it's Friday. You got it, brother. TGIF. All right, I'll take a couple minutes for these to load. Oh, looks like the NQ a little bit rally mode through the night, just looking here at the Eagle. So that's going to look like a big gap on the open. All right, let's put the trade manager on here. All right, got the trade manager loaded on all my charts, all set to go. Let's take a look at what's been going on. Yeah, pretty much since the London Open, here was a trend change signal, a little bit of a rally up, a consolidation period. The next rally up, and here we are. So where did they leave off yesterday? They left off around 44.80, I think it was. Yeah, lots going on in the not so much in the Asian session actually. A little bit here in the after hours. Huh. All right. So it looks like we might be getting a trend change signal, which of course would be characteristic of a market that opens with a great big opening gap. Okay, crude oil prices tailing off a little bit from yesterday's rally. Here's the hawk on crude oil. Pretty late first micro-macro cross signal. Normally we like to see those develop shortly after the trend lines cross, but if the market's really moving fast, as it was out of this morning's open, we did get the signal late. Now the only problem with that is there is a very real possibility that this could develop into a macro pullback. So I would try to risk the trade back there in case the market brings me in and then starts drifting higher going into a macro pullback type situation. But in this case, it was no problem. Easily found our first profit target. Soybeans floundering a little. All right, this is a little problematic. We're getting a trend signal here on the Eagle. It's not in sync yet. You see how this trend signal is in sync, but this one is against the ATR. So a couple of ways you can do this. We can use the ATR as a filter, maybe cover below the swing low, that kind of idea. Give ourselves a little staying power. We can wait for a second push on this entry. So this is looking pretty good. The market has tripped the signal. Now it's retreating somewhat. Or we can borrow a page from the Mike Filigera book of trading and actually let the bar trade through and flip over the ATR, then place our order. So we would have been brought in on this next bar, took a little heat, and then finally went higher. So usually I just use the ATR as a filter, but maybe this time we'll borrow a page from Mike's book and actually let the market flip the ATR before jumping in. Okay, and here comes the Raptor. I would have expected a double pullback here out of the Raptor. That's kind of characteristic of the Raptors that we make two moves into the hard edge. Although this one didn't get very deep either, did it? So we'll keep an eye on that. For some reason, my Falcon keeps changing my margin. All right, lots of yellow bars here in the Hawk. That's suggestive that we might be seeing a change in trend. If this market were still very bullish, we would have got like a red bar buy or something, and then the market continue a little bit higher. Perhaps this macro pullback would have had some follow through, but instead everything's gone into yellow bars, and that's kind of telling me that maybe, just maybe, we're going to see the NQ drift a little bit lower. We did get an early trend change signal here on the Falcon. Our trend line was out of sync, but we did get that characteristic little up, down, up pattern. And then the trend line and everything comes into sync. That's why we call this an early trend change signal, as opposed to the regular trend change signal where you have this whole move that changes the trend line color, then you have the counter move, then you have the move with the signal. The early trend change signal, well, is early. So we get the down move, but the trend line is still green. We get the up move, and then we get the down move, and that changes the trend line color. The problem with the early trend change signal, as you can see here, is sometimes we get another test of these highs before the market actually folds over. The proper trend change signal, for lack of a better name, does tend to have greater reliability to it. So if you get that push that changes the trend line color, then you get the counter move, then you get the with trend move and signal. That does tend to follow through a little bit smoother than the early trend change signal does. Okay, we are getting a first micro macro cross signal here. This is on the NASDAQ. Again, the market kind of sideways here, so I'm not all that keen to get in. Let's see, if I enter here, I'm almost halfway to my profit target versus entering down here. The lower entry, of course, is the safer entry in this case. Come on, just go higher. Don't even make me think about doing something with this. All right, I'm going to dial down. There's the first micro macro cross signal. Come on, get up there. I've already dialed down my risk amount. Oops. So let's do this. Let's throw a runner in. We've got a chance for the second push on the entry. I can cover up there. Do we have any signals to confirm this? Yeah, there's, oh, here's the proper trend change signal brewing now on the Falcon. But same thing, you know, the market's kind of sideways here, but we're looking like we're at a good point to sell. I've got the warning dot. I can forecast that the hash mark is going to print right there. I'd probably want to cover above the swing high. There we go. Take away the temptation. All right, so we can clear that. Pardon me. We can clear this. Now they're into a macro pullback phase, which doesn't help matters any. Get up there. There we go, yellow bars. Now I don't have to worry about taking a less than premium looking setup. All right, this is looking more like a double pullback now. Now we're getting the buy signal here on the Raptor. Oh, come on. This is one thing about the Raptor, is that it's a little bit more difficult to preset your orders, which is something that you can usually do with the trade manager. But, you know, I'm kind of splitting hairs now. Oh, now we're getting a green bar sell. It's kind of bouncing off the top end of the trading range. Remember, the green bar sell is a weaker signal. You don't have to take it. You can just use it as an early warning signal. But this one, oh, I don't want to go in for two. We'll just do a onesie. It's debatable whether we've seen a test of the extreme yet or not. If something is happening here, we kind of have this sideways trading channel bouncing off the top end of the trading range. It's likely that the market may try to get to the bottom end of the range. They did slip us a tick on the entry, which I'm not real happy about. Okay, trade has since rolled to break even. So yeah, look at that. They're going to try to, yeah, they grabbed us at break even, stinkers. See, if we had got our fill without the slip, we could have perhaps held on. Okay, we can cancel that order. It's rather an odd-looking session for the NQ. Michelle is asking, could you please take a look at crude oil on the Falcon? Sure. Yes, we're getting a trend line touch signal here. Warning dots, no signal completion just yet. Oops, sorry, overdid that. I would be inclined, if the signal printed down here, probably to offer up the extra tick to enter below the lows. Definitely cover above the swing highs. So that's a perfectly feasible looking crude oil trade for someone who is rather sleep deprived, but I think it shows potential. This would become even stronger if the market developed into a late filter entry signal. And with the Falcon, it's not as easy to forecast where your signal will print, because you see sometimes you get two warning dots and then the signal. So there have been occasions where I got cute with the market, brought myself in early, only to watch the market reverse. So there is a possible trade there on crude oil below this morning's lows. Oh, and we just missed our opportunity here to buy, but that's all right. So this was the bar that flipped over. I'm going to try to simulate what Mike did or does. So I'm going to do one of these. Now, what I've done is I've just set it up where we're looking at the signal printing and the ATR. This is the bar that flipped the ATR over. So I've placed my signal there, even though if I would normally have seen this bar at this time, I would have placed my signal above that bar. But I'm just going to test and see how Mike's entry works relative to my own. Oh, and you know what? I don't think I want to go in for two contracts just yet. This could also turn out to be a test of the extreme, so all the more reason to wait, right? If it fails here, then there's a very real possibility that the NASDAQ is going to head lower. Oops, wrong button. Oh yeah, look at how they just folded over. Okay, I'm going to get ready for a possible sell. I think we might be just about ready to turn the bears loose on the NQ. So the Raptor already giving a signal off of the failure of the buy signal to follow through. We generate a sell signal. We're back into the hard edge where we normally anticipate some sort of reaction. Oh, a lot of yellow bars coming up here in the hawk. Not real happy about that. Well, here come the buyers again. All right, maybe they're not ready to walk away just yet. No, they're definitely mixed up. The Raptor 2, you see all these yellow bars coming through, all this sideways activity. This is going to be one of these sessions where if you're smart, you're going to wait for it to get outside of that range. Yes, there might be a scalp here and there that you can take advantage of, but for the most part, it could be choppy. All right, so I'm going to test this signal again, waiting for this bar to form to get on the other side of the ATR. I can predict that the bar will fill there, right? Because if this bar finishes at 45.22, it will turn over the ATR. So we're doing a little experimentation here this morning. And we are getting a first micro-macro cross signal here, also in the hawk. But, you need to compare signals. Like right now, this market is sideways. Does that mean it cannot break out and rally? Of course, it can break out and rally. But you need to gauge what's going on here. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this is not as an attractive looking signal as perhaps, well, actually it doesn't look that different from this one. I was going to say as attractive as this one. This one looks more attractive in hindsight. Normally we see the trend change a little bit smoother. Okay, something crazy happened here in the overnight. But normally the trend change, it's a nice progression. The market comes down, tests the extreme, goes higher. Somewhere around here, we get a first micro-macro cross signal, and away they go. So you can see I'm giving this trade ample opportunity to put in another swing, show me where it is intending to go. And 45.22, the definite obstacle for this position. Okay, I'm not sure that's necessarily where the buyers have stepped in. I'm going to hold my stop for a little while longer. Yeah, the NQ definitely too sideways at the moment. This 45.22 area, I said, that's the big one. So if you're looking for a trade to take, this first micro-macro cross, but not until we get above 45.22. You want to trade it above the high. That has some potential to it. Yeah, you see, we're right back into yellow bars. This is not looking very promising at the moment. We're going to see the buyers step in here shortly, and then that will give us our cue to rally our stops. And this is part of the problem when you get yourself into a position as well, is if we print a sell signal now, it's going to be very difficult to take advantage of that. Okay, so I scrubbed the Eagle order. It's still holding its own. If we come back with another with trend signal here, that will be another buying opportunity. And I think I can go with the, at least with the swing high-low at the moment. Oh, why does it want to swing it there? That's not right. Well, I'll just manually pull it in. Actually, you know, a lot of times in this kind of situation, I will go with something like the bar high-low, and just with the notion that if the buyers fail at this point, they may as well take me out wherever they fail. Problem is sometimes there's a little bit of a stutter step through here on their way higher. Okay, it looks like they're about to give me a little bit of a spank. So we'll see whether it was prudent to roll the stop up or whether I should have left the stop back. Okay, so like I said, this is the time where you make a big star in your journal and you make a note, okay, it was a good idea to take my loss early. It was good to be aggressive on the stop because it would have cost me more money. Okay, so we've got the NQ turned over now, our another first micro macro cross signal printing. This one looking a little bit more promising because now we've actually broken through some lows here. And it's working itself into a macro pullback, so I'm going to try to risk it back a little bit further. Just in case it brings me in early. Remember, still lots of yellow bars here, but the fact that we've broken through the bottom here, we should see the sellers step up and start to push this market. If they drift much higher, then we're going to definitely be on the wrong side of this trade. So once again, you can either dial down your risk amount, or given, that this looks like a I was going to say it reminds me of Jamaica. I couldn't think of a good analogy. You could just go into manual mode and just throw a onesie on there. I tell you, when you get older, sleep deprivation is worse than a hangover. All right, so we're still printing our signal in the same area here. So let's see if they're going to take that out. See, the NQ overall is bullish, right? You take a look at your long-term chart, your daily chart, it's bullish. But obviously, given the big opening gap and the failure to rally out of that open gap, means that a lot of people are looking at this and there's a lot more bearish pressure coming into the market. That's why none of these moves to the upside are having any follow through. They're going up a little ways and getting knocked down. They're going up a little ways and getting knocked down. So we're looking for that big knockdown where they don't stand up again. All right, so here we are. Dun, 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 dun. See if they can take them back down through the bottom end of these channel, which, is Jim in the room? I'm surprised he's not saying Eric, 4511, that's this morning's low. So that's a significant barrier, or can prove to be a significant barrier. If they get through here, we got some room to move. We could see it go all the way. To fill that gap, we got to go to 44.80. So it's not the sweetest looking trade, but it is a first micro-macro cross signal. So we know it's a high probability trade. And this trade does have some potential to it. All right, let's put that up on the shelf. You can see here on Lay's Eagles, we are breaching the hard edge. So that's the first hard edge breach that we've had. This could develop into a rule of three. However, if we already have our test of the extreme, I'm going to get a little bit more ambitious even on a rule of two type signal. Oh, it looks like after a little bit of humming and hawing, crude oil finally found our profit objective. See, no wonder it's such a mess. Trade Forecaster says we're in full-on scalp mode, and in about a half an hour's time, we'll be lucky to move into swing mode, which may not necessarily be that much of a relief. So possible late filter entry signal building here. It hasn't developed yet. Our trend line has not flipped. Our filter has flipped. If the sellers can knock it down here, we should get a late filter entry and hopefully a reasonable looking trade to the downside. You can see the Raptor also trying desperately to print another red signal here. The Raptor caught the early move up here. Of course, this one a little bit easier to see in hindsight than real time. Real time, I'm afraid, I would have been wringing my hands a little bit on that one, at least until it got down to the hard edge. Oh, see what I mean about the buyers not giving it up? Here come the buyers again on the Eagle. Look at this. We're getting a red bar buy off of the hard edge. We know that's a high probability signal, right? It tends to be very reliable. See if I can find you a few more. Here's one down here. Look at that. Same thing. It broke through, broke the bottom end of the range. The buyer stepped up and boom, in your face. All right, so here we go. We've flipped over the ATR. I think I just got stopped on my hawk. I did too. Doggone it. Dang, nabbit. Who used to say that on TV? I forget. Dating myself a little bit. Okay, here we go. This is a red bar, green bar sell. Now, unfortunately, now I'm demoing some stuff here for you folks, so I'm just going to demonstrate how the green bar sell, and I probably would risk it right there. Why is this a more attractive green bar sell? And unfortunately for me, it looks like I should have had my initial stop up here. What are we missing here before the buyers take full control? And remember, these green bar sell signals, they are less reliable. You can always just use them as an early warning. What is it we need here before this market can make a full reversal and head higher? We should see a test of the extreme, shouldn't we? We should see it retest these lows and then fail. So if you think there's enough room in there for a quick scalp, then it might be a trade to take. But we're right back in the middle. It looks like right back in the middle of this trading range now, which is not encouraging. Because this tells me the market is dead neutral. The NQ does not care to go higher, it does not care to go lower. It's perfectly happy where it is. All right, let's be a little bit more aggressive on this management. We'll take the bar high low. They've tripped the signal to the downside. We'll roll with every bar. That's what the bar high low strategy does, essentially. Oh, and here's I forgot exactly how Jim phrases this, a long short. Oh, I should do it below the low of that bar. This is a long short signal on the Raptor, and it's essentially the failure of a buy signal. So we generate the buy signal. If this buy signal fails, we sell it. Now, I haven't figured out an easy way to classify that. Jim's usually better at picking them out than I am. Okay, it looks like the NQ is still going sideways. Did I get tapped there too? Yes, I did. So, this green bar sell, just kind of following the way the market is going today. In other words, it's not doing anything, just kind of flip-flopping back and forth, back and forth. Like I said, the smart move is to wait for it to get outside of this range. Don't try to second guess it. Let it get out. If it gets out, it'll do one of those to the upside. It'll do one of these to the downside. Or sometimes it will do this formation just near the top. Or just near the bottom. But anything before that, you're just asking for it. You're just saying, please take my money. So if you guys would like to save a step, I can give you my mailing address and you could just send me the money. It'll be a little less painful. I'll send you a really nice card, really nice thank you card. Well, it's more than what the market does for you. Wow, this eagle signal still holding strong. Now, I wonder if I can test Mike's signal this way. Let me see if I can throw a limit in there and still catch it. See if they'll back up a little bit and bring us in. So what I'm doing is, okay, the red bar buy signal against the ATR. This is the signal that the bar that turned the ATR over, so now everything is in sync. So we would already be long. I'm just trying to catch it if it backs up. I wouldn't normally do this. I'm just trying to test Mike's signal. All right, they should back up here just a tick and give it to me. Oh, fantastic, Dustin. I'm very happy to hear it. Dustin writes, I bought the Bollinger Suite and went to 5-tick targets using my 2 and 3 contracts, and I've got my 150 for the day trading live. Way to go, Dustin. Well done. No joke, man. On a day like today, very good. You should be proud of yourself. Today is like picking pockets. I don't think we're going to see any major move higher or lower. It really will be like being a pickpocket today. The smaller target's definitely helpful. I think I shared with you guys, I'm going to do something here too on, see this candle right here? Given the way the market is trading today. Oh, you know what? I'm going to, no, I'll leave it alone. I was going to say, I'm going to take advantage of this wick on this, or pardon me, the tail on this candle and roll my stops in. But I'm just testing Mike's system, so I'm going to give it a fair shake. I'm going to hold my stop either until I see a real swing or of course the market hit the break-even stop. I think there's something with my swing low. Yeah, it should have my swing low down here. I don't understand it. Anyways, I was going to share with you, if you haven't heard this already, a few weeks back I had an opportunity to meet a fellow day trader, and this day trader, being traders, I wasn't there because they were a trader. It just happened that I was there, and I noticed the paraphernalia, the bank of monitors and that kind of thing. It's like, oh, what do you do? What do you do with those? Oh, I day trade. Oh, really? You're a day trader. What a coincidence. Anyways, we start talking, and of course, you trade ideas, you swap signals and that sort of thing. This person did not have a signal. No, I am not kidding you. This person, we're on the West Coast. Everybody's a little artsy-fartsy here. This person was rather metaphysical. They were very in touch with their feelings, and they could feel whether the market was going to go up or go down. Now, they were trading stocks, which sometimes are a little bit more forgiving, sometimes a little bit more respectful of support and resistance areas, believe it or not. This person was far from broke. They were doing a major reno on their oceanfront property, and they were paying cash. Yes, that's true. So, of course, I wanted to see more. I wanted to see how they traded. You know what their secret was? Money management. I said, what's an average day for you look like? And they said, oh, anywhere from $250 to $1,000. Okay, that's reasonable, as a day trader. But they said, if I'm up sometimes $50 or $75, I'll just take the money. Oh, they said, it's been almost a year since I had a losing trade. Oh. So what does that tell you about their trading system? It's not necessarily the signal. Well, I don't want to say it's not necessarily the signal. The signal is definitely part of it. But this person didn't really have a signal. They would look at a chart like this, and they knew intuitively, okay, the market is up. So why don't I buy it? They wouldn't be so particular about where they would buy. They would just hit, they'd submit an order to buy whatever they bought, 100 shares or 500 shares or whatever, in some dinky little XYZ company that I'd never heard of. And they watched just 7 stocks. And honestly, these were not blue chips. Oh, I guess one was. I think Apple was in the mix, as was Visa. But the rest were not penny stocks, but stocks I'd never heard of. But they would look at a trade like this and they would say, oh, I'm up $100. I'll take it. Whether it reached the $200 target or not, they would never, and we've got this trade at break even right now, but they said, you know, the key to trading success is not be greedy. And how true is that? And how difficult is that dragon to slay? The key to trading success is not to be greedy. And this person had gone a year without a losing trade. That put me on my heels, I have to tell you. Because not every signal gets into the black immediately. And they acknowledge that. They said, you know, sometimes I'm up a few dollars, sometimes I'm down a few dollars. But they always tried to close out their positions before they had a losing trade. And same thing, a lot of times you don't need to be a major chart technician, and sometimes it's actually detrimental if you get too you micromanage your chart too much. That's why I always try to reinforce in the room too, you know, keep it simple. And if you can't keep it simple, find yourself a kid. Borrow the neighbor's kid if you don't have one. Say, hey, kid, which way is this going? Is it going up or down or what? And the kid will look at this and he'll say, gee, mister, it's going up. What's wrong with you? And likewise, if the chart was going this way, he would say it's going down. But, you know, a lot of times we just get in our own way. We try to make it too difficult. We say, yeah, okay. It's gone down here. They must be breaking down. And you heard me say this myself. Like, I'm as big a culprit as anyone. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody here, believe me. This can be an obstacle for all of us. But it was a very interesting conversation that I had. And what really floored me, like I said, was the fact that this person had no real signal and that they were perfectly fine taking a $50 trade. See, we've got $50 here. There's a real possibility we're going to get tagged at break even. What were we up? About 115, I think I saw, maybe 120. Oh, and here's the last one that'll floor you. And this is a direct quote from this person. This person said, day trading is easy. I don't know why everybody thinks it's so hard. I am telling you the truth. I am not pulling your leg. I suppose it can be as easy or as difficult as you want it to be. I think I've shared with everyone here my system for trading the E-mini S&P, where you will be right 98.5% of the time. No, I am not kidding. There is a signal in the E-mini which is correct 98.5% of the time. Let's pull up an E-mini chart and I will show it to you. And we can do it on any of our tools really. Maybe we'll do it on the Hawk once it finishes loading. All right, so here comes our E-mini signal where we will be correct 98.5% of the time. You know what the trick is to getting a signal that's correct 98.5% of the time? You trade for one tick. All right, watch this. We're going to hit buy market. Oh, we didn't get our target. Hold on. Why did the target not print? I'm in manual mode. Risk percent, no, manual. Let's try that again. Where's my target? Targets are enabled. Where'd you go? Oh, because I'm doing the buy market. Okay, sorry. I should have used the Trailblazer on this. That would have worked better. Why don't I do that? Hold on a second. Okay. Now this should work, I think. There we go. Okay, so, I flipped a coin. Heads I buy, tails I sell. I got the buy signal. So let's see. 98.5% of the time, the E-mini should go one tick in our favor. Oh, there it is. One tick. We needed 2 ticks to fill our limit. Forgot about that. But the point is, that doesn't help you a whole lot, does it? Right? At 98.5% of the time, grabbing one tick out of the E-mini doesn't do you any good because, well, the broker will love you. The broker will think you're a fantastic person. So you can see the E-mini a real mess today also. And same thing, right? You just gotta say, yeah, there it is. It's a sideways day. I should see if I can, I'll take the missus out for a nice breakfast, or maybe I'll get a tea time, or I'll do something constructive with my time because there's nothing going on there. So did they? Yeah, they did. They got nabbed us at break even here. So my trading friend would have pocketed $100. I get stuck at break even. I ask them how often they trade, and they only trade. They're really more of a position trader. They think they're a day trader because they do it during the day, but they're really more of a position trader. So they'll hold a position for a few days until the stock is up a couple of bucks, and then they'll sell it. But they said, I'll take $50 here, $100 there. I think the biggest trade that they had that day was $200. One of their stocks were up about $200, and I think they took profit on it. Well, if this doesn't shake loose in a few minutes, I think we're going to close up the room early. There's not much going on. Crude oil put in a little bit of a rally. Nothing too terribly interesting there. Soybeans on a bit of a slide today. We haven't really looked at the soybean market much. The stock indices definitely sideways. I have a feeling there's still that, I haven't been following it that closely, but I did catch snippets about the issue with Greece. I think that's a problem. What about gold, Mo says? Yeah, Dustin says, I haven't watched many stocks. Honestly, I haven't watched the stock market either, Dustin. It's amazing, though, how many people do watch the stock market. They thumb their nose at the futures, which I think are easier to trade and a lot more fluid and really a better day trading market. All right, so here's gold. Let's start with the Falcon. Here's the gold market. Nice decline in gold. My goodness. Right, where did gold open? I think gold opens 5:20 or 5:30 my time. I'd have to double check. This would have been a little bit difficult to get, this one right here. But certainly this next signal, a big trend change signal, occurred right down here, and that too had very good follow through. Here we are in sideways territory once again. Gold, if you didn't hear me say it before, is a good market to trade regardless of your time zone. There's almost always something happening in the gold market. Well, that's a pretty ugly looking session there yesterday. Lots of sideways activity. Looks like at around 7 a.m. Pacific, for a couple of days in a row anyways, gold likes to make some sort of move. Look at this. Here's another one at 7 a.m. Isn't that something? I might have to research that a little bit. This is a late filter entry signal in gold, which we know to be a fairly reliable signal. We are trading at the lows, which is a little problematic. The eagle, let me bring the eagle over here because it's about to give a comparable signal. You could wait for the signal on the eagle instead if you chose. let it actually flip over that ATR or place your order on the other side of the ATR, which would be the same signal that we're seeing in the Falcon. In the Falcon, I would also place the order underneath the lows. You could cover it something like that. Gold, of course, has the same problem that crude oil does, namely it's a very expensive market, even to get any kind of range on it. But there's a possibility there in gold. If it moves away from the lows, you could certainly buy it. Although you probably would have to look to the hawk or maybe the falcon for a buy signal. Yeah, the NQ still a real mess. You know what, guys? Why don't we call it a day? I don't think we're going to miss much. If you are going to watch this market for the remainder of the session, honestly, I don't think I would touch it until it gets outside of this range. Look at this range that I've highlighted here, and look at where it falls relative to the daily high-low, or for the first hour high-low. Look at that. It is right on the number. So obviously the market respecting these numbers at 45.11, 45.24, 25, really respecting that range. And we're right back in the middle. So you might as well flip a coin. It's going to be just about as accurate. If anything, believe it or not, I would be a little bit more bullish. They've taken far too long to get into that opening gap. They may continue to rally from here, but like I say, safe money says wait for it to get outside of the range. So grab yourself a coffee and a snack and hunker down. All right, you guys, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I will see you again on Monday. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.